GeronimoJak is back now with Lance once again, and our friend from across the pond. He hiked 10 miles out of a forest today to get here. It's TJDJ.
Jack, you make it sound like I live just 10 miles away from any form of civilization and I had to walk to
Every time
this like
you come
shed
on the cast,
to cast or something like that.
Yeah. Every time you cast on here, you're doing something different, or you're some middle of nowhere. I don't think you've been home in like months.
I mean, I'm at the PCC. It feels like home to me, you know?
Ah, he's buttering us up, Lance.
He's the intercontinental bridge of predecessor.
Oh my god. All right, Lance, how are you doing? How was the last game?
I am doing well. That last game was perfect. I need to take a second and make my formal verbal apology to my buddy Crazy Fool. Professors has qualified for our main event. Congratulations to them for getting second in their group.
All right. And TJ, I know you have a little stat sheet around you. You've been paying attention for the past little while. What have you noticed so far on your end of things?
What, just in the general gameplay?
Just in general games.
In general, honestly, like teams just absolutely despise Decker and Sevarog with all of their being and not letting anyone play two of my favorite characters in this game. So, you know, yeah, there's a little bit to talk about there. But honestly, like I've been more interested to see kind of the team compositions that we've seen from today as well. Like, you know, we've had one team favoring the wombo combo in like 2 back-to-back games, and then the other team going for more of a kind of jack of all trades that not necessarily excelling in anything, but you would have compositions that have both engage, have poke, have peel. They can disengage very well, as opposed to the other team that just kind of presses R and hopes that you all die. So that's kind of really stood out to me, and I think Manikas and Speaker would talk about it as well. It's like maybe some teams were leaning on it a little bit too much in like earlier iterations of PCC and other predecessor events as well. It's very easy to just hit the big circles on what you want to die and hope that they die, but now teams, you know, are kiting more. Their positioning has stepped up. The overall game level has gone up as well. So, you know, teams having to kind of maybe go out of that a little bit. So, you know, there's a lot to look forward to here. But yeah, the standard of gameplay is just getting like higher and higher the more that we do these, and it's been brilliant to see over the past few months.
With that being said, we'll see that standard jump up in just a second. The draft is ready. It's going to be Orca Pod versus Red Dojo. Lance has not stopped talking about this since before the stream has started. He is giddy like a child.
These are my 2 favorite teams in the entire group thing, with no hesitation. I really don't even know any of these guys on Orca Pod at all. I just love that they're the NA West team. And then everybody knows that's paid any attention to PCC. I got a lot of love for Red Dojo. Atomic is my main man. This roster's filled with absolute studs. They've, like I mentioned before, they've got our MVP from our last tournament, North playing off lane for them today as well. So very impressive there. This is a big match for them. The winner of this is going to play for our 3rd or 4th seed, and the loser is going to end up with the best being either 5th or 6th for them. So really big one here. Both of these teams will be in our main event. We've got our bans coming out already. Steel on the side of Red Dojo. Decker is going to get banned out for Orca Pod. So targeting those kind of supports, even though Steel's got some flex within them.
First pick coming out is going to be the Sevarog. Here you go, DJ. Exactly what you wanted. I'm actually surprised Sevarog's getting through.
Love to see it. Love to see it. There's a reason why I keep saying that Sevarog is one of my favorites, is because, you know, in whatever iteration of whatever we're calling this kind of genre of game, Sevarog has just kind of remained unchanged because he is absolutely perfect. But he did get some very interesting changes in the 0.7.3 patch notes with the Morrigas patch. And now Sevarog Jungle is what is haunting a lot of the battlegrounds today. Normally,
yeah, I was just about to say, I know that Jack is cheesing because he's been a Sevarog Jungle sympathizer since it was bad. They've changed it. It's actually quite good now. Gets a lot of extra stacks off the bigger minions from within the jungle camps. I think we're going to see more Sevarog Jungle than off lane today if he gets through many ban phases.
The other picks are going to be Rampage and Gideon from Red Dojo. So a nice long-range rock and engage, a giant screen-sized wall of meat, followed up with the black hole.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been kind of a pillar of a lot of these team compositions. I mean, Gideon is also kind of feels like the mascot of competitive predecessors, just always going to have a place in it. You have the safety, you have the poke, and also that huge disruptive team fight tool that we throw down in the black hole. You can even do some shenanigans with the terrain as well. I think there was in that last game as well, you had the Gideon ulting just underneath the ledge in between the inhibitor and tier 2 tower, and it was still hitting onto those underneath the tower as well. And thankfully, it didn't really backfire, but to give you an idea of kind of the mechanics behind the black hole, a lot to play around here as well. But we get a return of Akira on side of Orca as well, but we do get to see a Feng Mao, which
you don't see Feng Mao very often today either, so I'm kind of
for sure. But Feng Mao has been proven to be an incredibly strong offlane pick in the current state where he's at. He just got a little bit of an adjustment to try to combat that with this current patch, but it's still pretty tough. We also see the Drongo and the Belica coming out from Red Dojo on the other side. Very common to see Drongo being picked into Kira just for that natural counter for the silence into the ultimate as well. That is something that Natty is very comfortable on with that Drongo. His preferred champion is that Kira actually on the other side, and he absolutely beat Professors down with it in the last game, or in one of the last games of group that wasn't shown on stream. So we're going to have to see how he plays out on some different champions, but should be good there on the Drongo. And then to round the draft up, Orca Pod is going to come with the big old Narbash and the Howitzer.
Now, everyone, I'll let you talk about it a little more in a second here, TJ, but everyone just completely disparages on the Narbash, saying he's not a good pick. And I say it every time, Narbash's strength is something you don't see. He's an aura-based champion. He empowers things around him. So he does have his thunk, and he has a move speed for a bit of appeal. However, the amount of times that what you want to pay attention to in the next game is the amount of times someone walks away with very little health. And that is Narbash actually working the way he needs to work. So in the early game, that's what we're looking out for, and that's what you need to counter with that Tainted Guard.
Yeah, with players having to kind of pay that tax to get the anti-heal online as well. But it's such it makes sense as well that some of these tainted items aren't actually bad items in of themselves. It's like, okay, maybe not quite the items that you want to go for if you wanted to complete the build, but it's like you got to take it early to try and counteract with that Narbash as well. But playing into Belica as well, I've got some tough questions here. I'm not entirely convinced on the Narbash myself personally. I know he has got a lot of value mid to late game, but it's just you've got to get that Narbash to this mid game, because if the Narbash and the Kira lane falls behind, so this Narbash is going to pump out the heals, but really it's just going to be a heal bot. He's not going to get as much value from utilizing the move speed. Will just be running into their own death. The crash to boom, the wallop might not even see its full completion, not even just because of the amount of CC that Red Dojo are packing into this team composition as well, but purely because it's like, oh, we're just going to turn and burn a Narbash anyway. So Orca Pot, I'm expecting with the rotations, get this Kira and Narbash lane ahead, because Kira's not had a good time on just today's games of predecessor as well. So that's what they need to really reverse the fortunes of this Kira pick.
So by the looks of it now, we are actually going to see that jungle Severo come through, unless they decide to flex in Feng Mao instead. However, like you said, Lance, Feng Mao has been a strong off-lane pick, which means that Severog will be able to actually exert all the pressure. Because I say it every time I'm on a stream, Severog's ganking pressure is so strong from the jungle, and he has so much team fight pressure that you don't actually get to see because he's always just solo laning. So now the Narbash is there, sure, and we can talk about weak, strong, this, the other, but that Severog is able to just get in there, land that subjugate, and close that gap. He could even use the movement speed from Narbash in order to make that gap close, so he doesn't have to burn his own as well.
That's true. I did really like the last pick that came out of Red Dojo there. They picked up Crunch on the very, very last rotation. Pretty good into whoever Orca Pod is going to decide to put over there in the solo lane. Works pretty well into Feng Mao. Good early into Severog, not so great as the game goes on into Severog with that crunch there, but good thing to round the composition out for them. Two pretty evenly distributed team comps, if I were to say so myself.
Right.
Just from my initial impression, without taking too much of a closer look, I'm really excited to see these guys. I really haven't seen Orca Pods play very much, like we've mentioned before, but they are the NA West Dream Team. We're gonna see how they turn out here. Do either of you guys have any predictions for how this might go?
I don't know. Well, there's got to be a reason that this Sevarog has been banned away, right? So immediately for me, like this Orca pod draft really does stick out to me. I do like a lot what I'm seeing. I also think as well, you know, you could go Sevarog jungle, but I think that, you know, I would even be perfectly okay with being a more traditional predecessor game of the Sevarog going into the offlane as well. And also, it's going to be a big takeaway from North though, as well, who's playing on Red Dojo. So I was thinking, you know, you're leaving Sevarog open for the player that made a name for themselves on Sevarog pick as well. That's kind of crazy, but, you know, had to take it away at least. I do really like both of these compositions, though. I think Red Dojo is probably the more safer bet. It's a lot easier to pilot. So it's a bit more straightforward. You're not relying on certain kind of
picks in this and
within
that
the
sort of
composition.
thing.
Orca's comp, you know, really relies on everyone to be working as a team, but Red Dojo can be quite self-sustaining and quite easy, and it's just, yeah, we're just gonna run it down and beat you, basically.
So, in my opinion, I think Red Dojo has the advantage, but I really, really, really want to see Orca Pod take advantage of the Sevarog jungle, and I want to see how that plans out. And I hope he does well so that I can validate myself and all the stuff I've been talking about for the past couple months. But I will let Lance and TJ get to casting this actual game. We don't need to talk about it that much anymore. We just watch it. So I'll catch you guys very, very shortly. Lance, TJ, take it away.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jack. And, you know, the reason, you know, it would be very awkward if that actually was a Sevarog going into the off lane as well. Just when we thought we'd have it in the jungle. Nah, maybe not here. But yes, welcome everyone to the battleground for this game, Red Dojo versus Orca Pod. Already seeing, you know, a little bit of an invade going on, and that Narbash, you know, straight the way lands. We're not, you know, blink and you miss it near enough. That Narbash expending the blink immediately. The 5-man invade, it does pay off. They get the vision down, and they're going to burn a blink.
Yeah, good little 5-point coming out of my guys over here at Red Dojo. Getting that blink out of him, like you mentioned before, a little bit of an advantage now, making that lane even weaker. Not a whole lot of ways for Narbash to retreat if they were to push up forward here. And it actually does look like that is Sevarog in the offlane, of course, like we mentioned. So it's going to be a Fang Mao jungle. Chicken Brett is going to be over in here. So we need to talk about some of the changes to Sevarog, because this is the first time we've seen him since they did this like kind of scaling rework on him. You have to get more stacks to hit those tiers. Those tiers also give you less of a damage boost to that. It's now 8 instead of 10. The marks are now, I believe it's 40, 80, 120, 160. Is that correct, TJ? I said that a little more confidently than I actually am on it, but I think that's right.
I do respect it at least. Yeah, I think it's 40, 80, 120, 160. Yes, that is the tiers
right.
of the items here as well. So, you know, but as I said, yeah, a lot of it targets towards getting Sevarog in towards that jungle. But yeah, it's just going to be pretty standard. I mean, Sevarog has been a true monster inside of these games as well. But the trading coming out here, you know, North actually getting the better out of Chicken Brent and forcing away yet another blink from this lineup as well. And North actually gone down. So has also in the duo lane as explosions happen across the board. We don't see how it started, but we sure see how it ended. As Natty stands as the bodies are around him. The only one left alive. It looks like we've got the kill feed as well as Red Dojo picking up 2 kills to 1.
Right, and Peck's going to get one as well. Not nearly as bad to have a Bellica steal an early kill from you as the other supports, as she does scale so naturally and so well. And that is the payoff for getting that early blink out on from that Narbash.
You know, just Blink City here as well. That's Frankie and Natty both having to expend their own blink. Oh, but the landmine gets a nice knock up as well, but unfortunately just didn't have that distance on it. And now the Howitzer starting to have their attention turned towards them, having to back away as well. They're going to go forward with the torn space, chasing down this Howitzer. There's going to be the blink coming out once again. Honestly, like this next 5 minutes is just going to be kill after kill after kill by the looks of things. But the Howitzer actually goes down off screen. And Red Dojo picking up their 3rd kill of the game as well. Really starting this game rolling as well. And even Drink is going to pick off a member over by this jungle as well to answer back for the side of Orca Pod.
Yeah, North's gonna fall. We saw that the Howitzer down was down for a little bit as well, and it is just people are falling left, right, and center. Thank goodness we've got the kill score up at the top of it. We can see that it is 3-2 in favor of Red Dojo right now, so a slight advantage towards them, but a lot of time for these two junglers, Drunk, and Frankie B. Bussin' to move around this map while these flashes are down. get behind enemy lines, try to take another kill, get another advantage for it. Thunk is going to land over here onto Natty. Looks like Mad Corporal and Zero are going to be able to start backing up. The knockup is going to land as well. And boom, look at that damage coming down from Natty in the dual lane over in Red Dojo.
Here's the Feng Mao, you know, coming out from the jungle as well, able to at least answer back here. A true bloodbath as the Bellica, the next target, will eventually be ran down. Couldn't get that confirming kill over on towards this Drongo. But that's going to, you know, even things up. It's now 4 for 4 here as well.
Right.
You know, this bloodbath's carried on going, and meanwhile in the mid lane, Atomic and Frankie linking up on towards this howitzer, and they're going to pick up yet another game. It's been 4.5 minutes, and there's been 9 kills already, and Drink Drunk
Here comes another
as well. Frankie going to be the next target, going to be hit by the slow as well, and it's going to be picked off. A reaping dash away. Atomic wants to follow it down. Natty coming in from the duo side. Atomic burns the blink to get the kill, and that's going to be 6 to 5. Wakey everyone. It's going to be some predecessor action here across the board.
Holy cow, are we even going to be able to keep up with all of this, TJ? There's so much going on within this. We saw Atomic flash forward there to be able to pick up Drink as he's getting closer back to his tower. We got everybody rotating in from every lane, and it's like it's almost as if this is just a bunch of people sitting in one spot fighting with each other, as active as it is. But that's what you can expect when so many flashes are burned early in it. Everybody is so vulnerable and so gankable at this point. Even a Gideon with that torn space, you can get to him if he doesn't have his blink. So everybody's in danger, and it's feeding time for Drink and Frankie B right now.
Yeah, really paying off with this Feng Mao pick as well inside of the jungle. What we've seen from Feng Mao's historically as well is just get on the board early and just roll with the punches and actually be the one dealing them out as well. So such a good start for Orca, even though, you know, they do find themselves only 1 kill down. You know, the gold's still going on to crucial members, so it still is just a 1 kill difference as we see from these teams as well. But it looks like we're actually going to get a bit of a lull here. We're going to get like 30 seconds of no one actually dying. You know, that is a caster curse, by the way. I'm looking at the top of the screen to see if someone's going to go to a death timer, but it's not going to happen. So we get a lull here, lads. At least we can just breathe.
We do get a lull, which I think may be in Red Dojo's advantage. We don't want, or if you're a fan of that organization, you don't want to see OrcaPod getting into scaling early. You don't want to see them move to the late game portion of the game when it should be mid game time, just because of the fact that Narbash gets so big early, or that late game, I'm sorry, that Feng Mao gets so big early. Howitzer can delete you late game. Like, they've got the scaling advantage for sure, so slowing this game down is gonna be in Red Dojo's advantage. And speak of the devil, with another caster curse, just as we're saying that, Natty's gonna fall down to Mad Corporal and Zero, and they're gonna try to accelerate that once more.
He's just completely back and forward. It's the yo-yo of this duo lane. Just when, you know, Gradius and this Bellica have been kind of ruling the roost, as soon as we hit ultimates, this Narbash and the Kira combination coming out as well, just clapping back immediately. Orcapod actually able to take just a very slight kill lead as well, and now Mad Corporeal and this Narbash are able to take one of these gold buffs as well, just kind of non-stop action, as we've been saying here. But you know, it feels to me though, lads, that we've seen so much of this fighting, but not a lot of attention going towards any of these objectives really. You know, the Fangtooth is still available, Mini Prime still up, these towers are looking pretty healthy at the moment, so just a lot of isolated scrapping, but not necessarily getting anything meaningful out of it. Because I mean, just also Peak has got, you know, he's on 3 kills as well as the Bellica support. Love to see it.
Oh, hate to see it if you're a Red Dojo fan though. We also see Mad Corporal starting off that Lightning Hawk, so not going that breach route that a lot of people are starting to build on the Kira. May be able to see that coming in the next item or two just to get some wave clear. Might skip it entirely. That's kind of one of the side effects of playing on a new patch is, you know, some people have figured builds out that they like, some people are still testing things, and there's no defined answer to what is the correct build 5 days after a patch drops, right?
For sure,
we're going to see some diversity within builds, which is something that I personally love.
Yeah, some players are going to be a little bit hungover from the previous patch, and as you say, you know, they've got their comfort, they've got the things that they like, and other teams have, you know, had the time to really start to flesh out with, you know, a bunch of item changes that have just come across the board in this latest patch. And, you know, as you say, it makes watching games like this really, really fun as well, because you get to see all of the kind of on the fly adaptations. Because I get the feeling that that players are going to have kind of a game plan for what they want to build, but you know, with how crazy these games are, those items are going to need to be changed very much. As Michael Hoyer is taking so much damage. Peak with a blink in the sides because Salt Void Bomb confirms that one down. I think actually it's going to be Natty as the real support here, as Peak's going to grab yet another kill to their tally, as the Red Dojo is just starting to turn the pressure up, but you know, Orcpod still having that kill lead.
Right, and the other part about it is the lead is a little bit bigger than it actually looks. We talked about it being okay for Belica to take a couple of kills early, not 4 of them. That is too many for your support to have, even if it is a Belica. Yeah. Definitely want that gold spread around a little bit more, especially because all of these kills and all of these things are going down. They're not paying close attention to the minions. They're not getting like as much experience for killing these people, so they're a little under level compared to like the amount of gold that they're going to be getting and everything. So you definitely don't want all of your gold going to your support, especially if everybody's going to be a little under level.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree there as well. Like, you know, giving the first blood bonus to the support does actually have quite a lot of benefits. Granted that getting it onto your AD carry is definitely the one that's going to be less tilting for the AD carry, but also like, you know, that's the late game insurance, right? But, you know, when you get your support ahead, they're able to play with a lot more freedom. They're able to rotate a lot more. They have the experience under their levels. They're able to pick up their items quicker. There's just so much that you're able to do here with that freedom. But yeah, maybe just a little bit more. I mean, you know, Pete's already grabbed that Marshall as well.
Take a quick look at Drink Drunk. Already has the Mind Razor finished at 7-1-1 right now. An absolute force in this game. 50 CS on him as well. That is one of the sacrifices you got to make when you have 7 kills in 11 minutes, though. Holy cow, Drink Drunk is putting on a performance in this game. They were able to secure that first Fang Tooth as well, but it looks like Red Dojo did trade that for the Mini Prime. North doing what he can to push this tier 1 turret down, try to get that first brick blood for them.
Unfortunately, actually, no, Chicken Brent is going to try and contest as well, but North, with that Prime buff, is going to be more than happy to push another wave on the tower. But health bars are going to be quite weak. Meanwhile, though, left-hand side, looks like Frankie got a gank off into the duo lane once again, and it's going to be the Narbash dropping at least. But now 3 members looking to get the pressure down on the towers. Right-hand side did not fall as of yet, but 3 members here on the duo lane might be able to make something happen at least. Also seeing how it's rotating Frankie in the Bearmock and jump after Mad Corporeal. Can't hit the boulder toss, but now Drunk is in the vicinity. He gets a great seismic assault. The low health bars, the shield comes out as well. Is able to escape into their jungle. He's gonna have to be careful. Meanwhile, though, the crunch has already gone down. Drunk still moving in the vicinity. Sidesteps another boulder. The Matrix dodge there comes out, and the Feng Mao will escape with their life. But meanwhile, the team fight Mad Corporeal in the Purge gets a lot of damage down. But it's going to be the call to back away underneath their tower. It's a crazy back and forward here.
They're just built different in NA West, TJ. I'll tell you what.
Ooh, Atomic goes in for it, but immediately funked out of the black hole. Natty in position at least. But it's just going to be it's just going to be the ultimate going down. Meanwhile, though, Magali has been the target of about 5 of these gangs, it feels like, from Drunk, just able to get some much needed solo XP inside this lane.
He has been, and that was an absolute wild fight there. Drink so close to handing over a 1,000 gold bounty. Anybody that could have been able to pick that up. Frankie B was so close to getting that with that rock, that sidestep at the last little spot from Drink. Absolutely perfect for him. Able to just move to the side, keep that bounty within him, not put that over onto the side of Red Dojo, escape. They did have to give up that tier 1 tower over in duo lane because of that. So now there are 2 turrets up to 0 for Red Dojo over Orcapod, but a really good spot as far as team fights and kills for Orcapod so far.
Yeah, and as you say, like it's gotta be focusing on, because as this game goes on, you know, 13 minutes coming up here, you know, blow for blow, just, you know, playing team deathmatch inside of these lanes as well. Is that all the gold, you know, going into these more late games carries? Atomic though is actually going to follow through with the torn space on towards this Narbash, but it's actually more just a bit of zoning at least, because the Fangtooth is going to be spawning very, very soon. So you can see that Red Dojo are making moves at least, but they have actually lost North though. just off screen as well. So any fight though might be a 4 versus 5 as the Fangtooth does drop. Frankie is in position as well. Atomic there as well. And Armash did get spotted onto the ward. Knowing that the Sevarog is still on the right hand side, members starting to come in as well. Frankie's still dealing with it, but here comes Narbash and throw down the movement speed. Frankie goes to the Behemoth. They're actually going to turn and burn towards the members of Orca Pod. Going to go and get the damage down. Mad Corporeal does get knocked up by the seismic assault as well, but the attention still from Red Dojo onto this Fangtooth. They will secure it at least 1-for-1, and now they want to get even more out of it, Lance, but Orca Pod just going to back away.
Yeah, one of the disadvantages, if you could say that there is one for Drink Drunk being as high kills as he is, hasn't spent a lot of time farming in comparison to Frankie. So they have that smite advantage. Know that even with it being a 4v5, it's safe to take that because they can out hunt the team members of OrcaPod at this spot. I believe that that is true. Yes, it is. Thank you for confirming that for me, Choice, and not making me look silly. So they were able to have that 500 smite advantage. Easier to secure that. Definitely don't want to let a character like Fang Mao get to a second Fangtooth. That 8% out of combat movement speed gets him zooming around the map. He's already at a huge advantage. Very good job by Red Dojo to stop some of this bleeding, put a finger in the levee, stop some of the water from leaking out, but definitely a little bit of work still to do. Probably pretty close to even in gold at this point because of those turret takedowns that Red Dojo does have. But we got another fight popping off right away.
Yeah, Magali caught out inside the jungle, and now it's Drink Drunk dealing with North and Peak as well. North gets a nice knock up in towards the wall as well. Knock up coming from Peak as well, and North will be the kill, get the kill donated towards him. 1,000 gold goes in the back pocket of the Crunch, and a mini prime just outside. Don't mind if they do. Red Dojo going to be securing that one as well, as they're really starting to pull ahead in this mid game, grabbing those neutral objectives.
Right, they are just, you know, taking every advantage they can, which is something that you can just expect to see from a team like Red Dojo. I've talked probably too many times about how much I like this team, but I pay very close attention. I watch how regularly these guys scrim. They are in a Discord together for hours on hours every single day. These guys are scrimming as much as any other team in NA, maybe even more. And it's starting to pay off. You can see that hard work paying off. Their macro control of this game indicates that they are very comfortable with each other, and they've played a lot of games as a group.
Yeah, especially as we hit towards, you know, these 4 versus 4s and 5 versus 5 fights as well. I just wanted to highlight there as well, you had Drink going on towards members, but immediately cancelled out. Meanwhile, though, inside the jungle, Mad Corporeal was just going to bite the dust. Red Dojo having a numbers advantage. Drink trying to make something happen at least, but it's just hitting this wall of CC, and that's the Feng Mao going down once again. 7 kills in a row, but now 2 deaths in a row onto this Feng Mao. It's been 50 minutes of pure control coming out of OrcaPod, but now Red Dojo's composition is really starting to pay off.
Right, and this is that spot in the game where they are going to have that advantage. It's kind of the mid-game section of it. They still need to be mindful that if this game goes to full items, they will be at just a stats disadvantage against OrcaPod. But right now, they've got their foot on the gas, and they're pushing exactly the way that they need to. They did end up losing their mid-tier 1 tower, but traded it back for the other one as well. No tier 1s are left up for Team OrcaPod at all. Still got 2 of them for Red Dojo. Still tied at 1 apiece for Fang Teeth. 2 mini primes have gone over for Red Dojo, though, and that's what's got them in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, no, it's just how they're playing as well, how they're piloting around this map, you know, say leveraging their win conditions as well. Because right now with OrcaPod, though, still need a few more pieces of the puzzle to really come up here. You know, we know that Drunk has already got a head on the Feng Mao, but, you know, you're looking towards his Sevarog, still needs to get stacking. This Kira still needs to become more involved at the moment. We started to see little glimpses of it, but right now it's just not coming together. Actually getting a lot of damage down on towards Pete, though, forcing out the blink and make it rain does a lot of damage. It was holding the air for a little bit longer, but the Cosmic Rift comes down and adds a lot of damage. And actually, that's going to be Drunk Lance once again getting picked off in these fights.
Yeah, one of the things about Feng Mao is he is still vulnerable. He's an assassin at heart. That's what he was designed to be. So if he does get caught into a bad position, he is vulnerable once he's got that reaping dash down. But we've got another fight. North is going to catch them out in the jungle, but it is a 2v1, and he's going to suffer from a little bit of crowd control. The ult is going to come out of the Kira there, and it's going to end up just being the Kira falling there North kind of wins a 1.5 versus 2 there, as somebody did come into the system pretty late into that fight for himself.
You just have to, you know, interrupting honorable 1 versus 1s. Oh, shake my head. That's not what we want to see here, at least. But yeah, I was just like gobsmacked at the amount of damage that North was able to pump out onto this Kira as well. It was only the intervention of the Narbash, you know, with a really nice funk, the Crash Boom Wallop, to actually allow the Kira to hit some of these abilities and shots and actually get the damage down that, you know, prolongs their existence inside this game, shall we say. They still end up going down, but yeah, just to give you an idea of how far ahead Red Dojo actually are starting to pull inside these fights. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This is where we expect them to be, but Orca still have that late game. And as this game goes on, it's a ticking time bomb, because that Sevarog will reach a point where they are just a little bit too difficult. You know what? I respect that, Atomic. I love the torn space mechanics, but unfortunately, you face plant your whole team into a wall, so you only get half marks for that. But an A+ for theatrics.
They're just trying to, they haven't put emotes into the game yet. They've delayed them a little bit to help work on the UI. So they're just trying to make sure there's a good visual show for everybody. That's basically an emote as far as I'm concerned. They did a whole team emote on them there.
Yeah, Gideon torn space into a wall emote when? Just
Not soon enough. Not soon enough, Ace. Give it to us.
Oh dear me. Well, 20 minutes in on this game, we have had 28 kills at this point. We're over 1 kill a minute at least. The CS relatively intact here, Lance, but you know, we get an opportunity to look at some of the items coming out here. Is there anything really standing out to you?
So I do think that it's interesting that we got a first item Marshall out of Peak. A lot of people have complained to me that the AoE on Marshall is a little smaller than it needs to be. I also love seeing that new Dynamo coming out of them as well. That's got a lot of, Peak's got a lot of gold having 4 kills and having gotten them early. So cool to see him a little bit further down his build as well. I like to see that North is actually one of the reasons we were talking about the damage he did to Kira earlier. That's because he's got the Tainted Blade after the Mutilator. So a lot of times on Crunch, you'll see them go 1 damage item, which is usually Mutilator, into full tank. He's got 2 damage items, may potentially be going full damage on the Crunch as well. But we got to focus on the fact that they are on the Orb Prime right now. We've got some pressure on the tier 2 on the other side of the map, actually, by Orca. Looks like they kind of caught them off guard, taking that Orb Prime. Did it without them really even recognizing it.
Through the wall from Pete there. Here's a seismic assault through the wall, and Magali just drops inside of this mid lane. But meanwhile, though, that's 3 members over by the left-hand side in here. But Atomic at least comes down to clear the wave. I think that was 2 towers dropping in trade for the Orb Prime at least. So, you know, really nice heads-up play by Orca to try and respond back. A man called Corporeal going forward on towards Atomic, trying to go into the black hole, get the damage down. The knock-up from North just to secure the kill inside the ultimate is what Red Dojo wanted to see. They drop 2 over on the left-hand side, and with that Prime buff, they want more. Lance, they smell blood. Drink Drug takes a boulder to the back of the head. He will Reaping Dash forward, but North has got a little bit of CC, just waiting for another forward crunch to come out. This Feng Mao might have just got away. The Red Dojo not only grab Orb Prime, but they also pick up 3 kills.
Yeah, Atomic doing some measuring there, going in onto what seems to be a 1v3 at the time, pushing his black hole there. Didn't even use the Soul Bearer too, which was a little surprising to me. North comes in, saves the day for him as well. I'm sure that he had that Soul Bearer. He was waiting to save it until some health fell from him, not trying to just use that for the shield, get it for the magical lifesteal. But we can't even get a word in, because here comes another fight as they're diving into the tier 2 tower. Bellica has fallen, and so has the Narbash, so no supports are up right now. Chicken Brent doing a good job of being a frontliner at the 3rd stack of shoulder pads already, trying to hold these guys back, but with the Orb Prime buff, these minions are not dying quick.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough ask here as well. Red Dojo starting to retreat as well, but they are still posturing around. You know, that Orb Prime with regeneration coming out here. You can see Atomic did get chunked down pretty low, but that health bar just ticking up whilst this siege goes on, and they are going to win this war of attrition. At least Chicken Bread gets a fair amount of return damage on North from the Subjugate as well, but Atomic goes in with a torn space with the black hole, trying to close out this game. And unfortunately, it's not going to matter here. Health bar's really low. The Feng Mao is back up, and that might signal a retreat coming out. But what is this? Over on the opposite side, it's going to be Natty on this Drongo, taking down this inhibitor. Was Red Dojo made Orca look the other way. Chicken Brent will be here is able to take down the wave, but I think Natty actually grabbed that inhibitor as well. It may just cost him his life, but that is going to be worth it every day of the week.
Did they knock it down, actually? I don't believe... I think that they lost their inhibitor, unless I'm looking at this the wrong direction, which I think that I am, actually. Yeah, so sorry. The minimap flops back and forth depending on who you're watching on spectator mode, so I apologize. That was Natty picking up that inhibitor, which is definitely worth it. You'll take that for a life at this point in the game. Do need to be careful, though, as it does look like Frankie has exited the game for a short period of time. Hopefully going to get him back in soon. I haven't heard any word that there's some big... Oh, there he is. He pops right back in. The opposite of Caster Curse. Exactly what I was trying to do. Trying to bring Frankie B. Bussin back into the game. And they are going to put their eyes onto the Primal Fangtooth, it looks like, as both Zero and Peck trying to fight that ward, or the war of wards over it, as more pressure is getting put on by North. Or Prime Buff is going to fall off Red Dojo at this exact second. So a little bit less pressure than they had a little bit ago, but the Primal Fangtooth should be the next objective we see people fighting for.
Yeah, and just looking at the levels as well, this is going to be yet another explosive fight in this one. You see that, you know, Orca have got members around here, you know, with the mid lane, in the mid lane as well. That's what I count 4 members. They're trying to get it for a pick here. North actually in the middle of 4, though, but North is, you know, dealing a fair amount of damage back at least. So Narmash just get a lot of attention into the Crash Boom Wallop as well, with all the damage chunking down. They're grouping up and they're taking a lot of AoE damage. Drunk is able to assassinate onto Atomic and take down the mid laner. The Neuro Disruptor from Peak is not, it might have been enough actually to take down the Fengman, who does drop at least, but a very split fight as Chicken Brent is in the middle of 3 people as well, trying to keep members off of Mad Corporeal, but the dash, the follow through is still going through from Frankie, trying to pick off this Kira, set up with the Seismic Assault once again, Peak adding to their kill tally. It's an once again, it is a bloodbath. That's 3 members dropping for 1 in an extended team fight, but it looks like, you know, it's Red Dojo, the ones winning out and still have priority over that Fangtooth pick.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get a reset here, maybe able to get in there, maybe start a Primal Fangtooth, but all members of Orca Pod should be up by the time they would be able to complete that reset. So probably just an opportunity for Red Dojo to go back there, spend that gold that they've earned through winning all of these fights. Still only have that 5 kill advantage. Can we get a tab? Oh, actually, let's not get a tab because they're gonna go for this Primal Fangtooth here. That is gonna be a massive combat advantage for them once they are able to take this down. We see Drink on the other side of the map, up by where that inhibitor's down. That means this is free for Red Dojo, and that is not what you want if you are an aquatic mammal fan.
Sure here, but we know some members of chat will be on the side of the Orcas, but right now they are definitely in a lot of pain here as the black hole came down, able to lock up. Orca Pod members do turn up to the party, but the party is going to be ended by Red Dojo. At least they have picked up yet 2 more kills. Drunk just trying to push this minion wave out as far as possible, delay the siege as well. But right now for Red Dojo, they're just going to play this a little bit, a little bit safe. We got All Prime coming up in just a matter of moments here as well. They're not looking to close out the game just yet, just kind of reset these lanes, get them in a pretty good spot, and you know, they still have options. Lance, they can still push towards that All Prime. They still have the idea of even just trying to close out this game as well. Maybe not going to go for the latter because of the death timers, but they're still definitely posturing around though. Frankie's going to pick up the boulder, looking for the stun, but not going to find it. He's actually going to find himself being stunned himself from the Funk, having to jump away. Able to get a fair amount of damage down, but Red Dojo keeping the Vice turning, keeping the pincer route moving as well, splitting their fights. The left in him hasn't dropped just yet, as North is doing some work onside the mid lane as well. Orca Pod do hold for now, but the All Prime is going to most likely be the next target.
It definitely is. They've still got that combat advantage as well, so it's not going to be terribly smart for Orca Pod to go and try to fight them at that. They may have to at this point just kind of throw that Hail Mary up, do some sort of desperate times, call for desperate measures. If they give this Orb Prime up, this game is all but tied with a bow for Red Dojo. Yeah. So it's kind of now or never. Maybe we even see them try to aggress and start it themselves. I personally think that would be a pretty bad idea, but I've seen wilder things. This has got to feel bad for Drunk with as big as he was early to feel this start to slip out of Orca Pod's fingers. because they had it right in their hands, and it's just slowly slipping out of their control as this game goes on. They do jump straight onto this Orb Prime, as the Prophet TJDJ did predict.
Some people do call me Nostradamus. Well, by some people I mean one, and that's myself to myself at least. But your prime secured for the side of Red Dojo. But Orca actually wanting to start this fight here, looking for an opportunity to go forward. But Atomic, the black hole over the top to get the damage down as attention turns towards the members. Drunk, the assassin able to Earth Shatter and take down Natty at least. It's a 2-for-1 for now. Ooh. But now it's 2 Earth Shatters coming out from Drunk, and will Reaping Dash away. Red Dojo secure the Orb Prime, but it is not for free as Orca are able to remove 2 members with that purple buff.
Yeah, he gets in there, he says, I'll take one and then pour me another one. Gets both of them, Drunk with the double kill. They're very good for them to stop some of that bleeding. Getting Natty off of the map stops a lot of their siege potential. Still got the crunch, still got the Gideon, still ways to take turrets down, but Natty was the one who was going to absolutely delete those with Drongo.
Yeah, and also like losing a peak as well. It's got to be a big loss to this team composition as well, who's been really like able to stop Drunk getting in towards these fights as well. Just been on point with these seismic assaults the entire game as well. So potential here at least for Orca if they want to try and start. So you can see a bit of a wet noodle fight going on between Chicken Bread and Frankie B at the moment inside this mid inhibitor. But Atomic though, over on the left hand side, has actually grabbed himself the left lane inhibitor. At least, and now they're going to turn attention towards his Sevrog. But Atomic does hit one ability, the Cosmic Rift coming down as well. It's a nice chunk, but the Sevrog will at least be able to get back to base. But the inhib's going down, and Orca is still over fighting on the right-hand side, trying to take down North, but North is clapping back here. Actually, he's able to go 1-for-1 in a number disadvantage. Magli versus Atomic. Magli immediately backing away here, but the inhibitors are dropping. The base is in tatters, and Red Dojo looks like they want to go for the killing blow.
And this right inhibitor is fake, as it has already fallen earlier in the match, so they don't need any minions to take it. Can just walk up, have Natty to delete it super quickly, and Orca is in danger. Their natural habitat is depleting as all 3 of their inhibitors have been taken out of the game so far. That should be a clean, easy way for Red Dojo. Just come back, hit a reset, get as strong as you can get, maybe buy a tonic, maybe get Atomic to buy a tonic, and then you push into the base, do what you can. I do want to talk about these items a little bit more. I like what we're seeing out of some of the itemization for Orca still. Want to point out how strong World Breaker can be on Sevrog. Not super sure about it being a first item, but still a really good choice there for himself. You see Zero Grade is well over that 20% mana regen that you're looking to get to on Narbash, where you can just push E and leave that on the entire time. I saw Maguli's doing the pretty standard build. You got a little bit of mana with the combustion with the Mega Cosm, and then you go straight into the damage with the Wraith leggings as well. Getting close to full builds for a lot of these members here, getting close to the end of this game.
Well, blink and you miss it, and that's going to be the Narbash, though, not taking part for another 45 seconds. And here's us, Lance, wanting to talk about the intricacies of items, but these teams just want to be fighting right now. And my word, I'll say, let them at least. Primal Fangtooth once again is going to be on the menu, but we are 30 minutes in once again. So yeah, as you say, Red Dojo, it feels like they are now at their strongest, especially if they are able to secure this Primal Fangtooth as well. Orca still have items to complete, so they will be able to match it though. But I have to feel that for Orca to really find some meaningful fights, that this game needs to go even longer. I'm wondering now, actually, if we might have a possibility of the kills per game actually record being broken here, because this is now currently at 52 kills right now, as Frankie wanting to add 2 more to that tally as well. But Drink immediately onto the back line, blinks forward and Reaping dashes back at least, but he was actually able to take down Natty in that one. The assassin lives up to their name here, but Red Dojo are not dissuaded. 3 members inside the mid lane. Frankly, with yet another hit on towards the Sevrog, but losing now Drongo though, Lance. Red Dojo aren't really comfortable here, and Orca actually want to capitalize. The subject comes down, looking to lock down members. Magical Corporeal is here, able to hit a lot of damage over towards Frankie B, and now North enters the fray once again. Knock upon Drunk, the Void Bomb over the top as well, trying to confirm the damage down, but no one has dropped just yet. Atomic from the backside, looking to hit a black hole. Oh, actually goes towards Drink as well, into the black hole, but immediately cancelled by the landmine as 2 members are going to drop. It's a 1-for-1 overall. It's going to be an Epoch coming out as the tension turns once again. Orca Pod just clawing their way back into this game as they're able to drop the members one by one. They found 2. They're looking for a 3rd onto peak here. 4 retreats coming out. Subjugate, Funk, CC might be enough, but it's a good answer back at least. The health bars come down. Mad Corporeal still very low, having to dice with death here because 1 CC combo would be the death of the Kira, but it's actually going to be going the way of peak on this Bellica. Frankly, the only one left alive here, trying to get away, but that's a huge team fight win for Orca Pod.
Yeah, honestly hard to kind of believe that happened. That starts with that really good pick from Drink, picking Natty in that early, knowing that even with the primal thing on them, not a lot of damage left on their team with Natty dead and Atomic up in a different position, separated from the rest of his team. So great job by Orca Pod to identify that, get in on them, but they've got a lot of bleeding left that they have to deal with. Nowhere near over for them as all 3 of their inhibitors are still fallen. Super minions pushing in from all sides should be able to be a free or prime for Red Dojo right now, and I would be shocked if they're not on that right now. Drink is going to take a little peek in there, try to see if he can find them. Actually, it doesn't look like Orb Prime is going off, which is a little surprising to me. However, probably Red Dojo just doesn't think that they're quite in position to be ready for that yet, but it is where they are running to immediately. These inhibitors should start respawning for Orca Prime.
Yeah, left one's gone up.
Yep. As they did get taken pretty bang. So pretty soon some of that pressure is gonna fall off of Orca Pod.
Yeah, but right now, Red Dojo starting at the All Prime, Chicken Brent in the middle, Colossal Blow on towards Natty. That's going to be the attention. It's going to go the way of Red Dojo. Now here come the ultimates, here come the abilities. They're able to take down Drink, Drunk. They're looking for more. The Crash Beam Wallet from the Narbash is just trying to buy time for a retreat from Orca Pod. And now the Narbash might just be the sacrificial orc in this frame. Mad Corporeal and Magali can only watch as their support will go down. But Red Dojo, again, they've got the wind in their sails. They want to close down this game, but Orca Pod pulled off a miracle over in their base. They're going to have to do it again. And I think they're going to have to do it again, Lance, after that, because Red Dojo, now with All Prime up, they are going to be without Natty once again, though. So this is still hanging in the balance.
Every time it happens, I've got more belief that Orca Pod can do it again as well, and I really don't see Red Dojo being able to push in here and finish this, especially with the Kira, the Howitzer, and the Sevarog all still up for Orca Pod. They're going to do what they should be doing here on Red Dojo, split up, try to get into these fake inhibs, try to take them out. However, not a whole lot of safety in any of them being alone this late into the game with as strong and as scaled as the characters from Orca Pod has. And Drink is up in 1 second, which means everybody's in danger of being 100 to 0 quickly for the side of Red Dojo, except for Frankie B. Bussin.
Yeah, Frankie might take just a little bit more abilities to be necessarily one shot here at least, but Natty is still on the field, is now back on the field, so Drink has got the priority targets. And we were criticizing Drink. Well, not necessarily criticizing, but saying that unable to really match the impact they had in the early game when they actually were dealing into this Red Dojo composition. But I say you wanted this Fake Mal to be more of an assassin, and that is like hitting the role title on the head here. Just Drunk's only purpose is to just delete Natty before the fight even starts, and it's allowed Orca Pod to keep this game going. We are at 37.5 minutes. This is the 3rd primal Fangtooth as well. It's gonna looks likely to go the way of Red Dojo once again. So they're gonna have the All Prime buff. They're gonna have the Primal Fangtooth buff as well. But members of Orca Pod are at least in the vicinity. Norva's going to be dealing with 3 members. A Colossal Blow over towards the wall as well. Going to keep the CC going down. But Norva's able to answer back Atomic. The black hole over the top. And look at the health bars just be shredded from that ultimate. Frankie B now going forward on towards Magali. Going to be blinking away. But the damage has been done. Look at the death timers. It's a 2 for 3. But Red Dojo have found the Primal Fangtooth, and once again they're going to be looking for maybe something else. But right now Orca Pod just doing such a good job of keeping themselves in the game, but they still got to find more, Lance.
Right, and they do have both buffs for Red Dojo right now. Unfortunately, it looks like Frankie B has left the game one more time. Comes back in as I say it again. Thanks, Frankie, for keeping me on my toes about that. But this is the opportunity that they're looking for. These death timers are getting longer and longer and longer. No Kira for 30 seconds. No Fang Mao for 40 seconds. This is what they need to do. If Atomic doesn't get picked here, or if they can put some pressure on the other side of the map while Atomic is distracting them, either way will be good for them, but they need to be looking to close this game sooner than later.
Very important interrupt from Magali with the landmine, and that's going to be the mid laner for Red Dojo. Caught out inside the jungle, but what's going on here? Icy Peak dealing with this inhibitor. Frankie B getting the damage down onto Magali. At least is able to take down that howitzer. That is an 80-second death timer to be dealing with here. But meanwhile though, Red Dojo just keeping the pressure on because Peak has been split pushing and looks like they have grabbed the right hand side inhibitor once again inside of this match. The funk goes wide, but Peak, mission accomplished.
Definitely, and getting to the point where, Belica becomes more or less as if she was a mid laner anyways at that level 18. She does have more of a supporty build than before, but a lot of damage that can be pumped out from a Belica just naturally through her passive. Getting all of her levels or all of her abilities maxed level, getting that massive mana pool she's gonna have by the time she's level 18. Very, very strong for Peak and Belica right now.
Yeah, you definitely got to be feeling good if you're a Red Dojo fan just watching this happen. But Orca Pod, I gotta keep bringing it up here, but they have dragged this game out so long as well. There are opportunities where Red Dojo looked like they were going to close out the game, but Orca Pod have just found these fights. And it's been off the back of some important picks as well. Natty going down, Atomic being picked up as well. And actually going to look towards Peak this time, 3 members, but Natty is at least in the vicinity. The attention being turned towards this Narbash, who once again will go down. Drunk is gone. The Narbash has gone once again. 2 members for 1 minute and 20 seconds against Red Dojo's 5-man squad. Completely strong here, able to siege, and this looks like it might actually just be the game, Lance. The inhib's already been prepped. We're going to take down the left-hand side inhib just for completionist sake. I think I've lost track of how many inhibitors have actually gone down this game at least, but what a game this looks to have been. 70 kills in this 41 minutes. Slobber knocker. It's a barnstormer. It's whatever you want to call it. That's what this game has going to be, because it feels like closing the curtains. Red Dojo going to look towards the core, to make it rain from Magali, able to get some damage on towards Peak, but Natty is still alive. The damage coming out, the attention towards his core as well. But hold up one moment. Orca Pod have at least bought some time. They've cleared the wave, Lance. But Red Dojo are just waiting for another one to drop.
Right, and all of these waves that are going to be coming forward are going to have a super minion in them as well. Pretty decent wave clear out of Maguli and Chicken Brent, but it's going to be hard.
Get a black hole coming down from Atomic. The Epoch stasis comes down, and the 2 more defenders will drop. It's only Chicken Brent to try and keep the dream alive, but 41 minutes is what it took for Red Dojo to take down Orca Pod. That is a 73 kill game, and I think I need to catch my breath after that one. Wow.
Yeah, get this man an oxygen tank, because I feel like a TJDJ just play-by-play 15 team fights in a row for 40 minutes, and I don't know how you've got any breath left within your body right now. Big congratulations to my friends over at Red Dojo for winning that game. They will take on the winner of our next game between Dirty Lake and the boys, and even worse timing, to see who gets out of groups with the highest seed. You'll see another game out of Orca Pod, as well as they will play the loser of the game that we just mentioned. So big kudos to both of those teams for a really impressive performance. And I gotta say, earlier in that game, it felt like Orca Pod was slightly in control of it. Drunk was absolutely huge. And then, like I mentioned within the game, it felt like it was starting to slip out of their fingers and get further and further away from Orca Pod. And then it just didn't feel like they wanted to die. And although they did end up losing that game, holding Red Dojo off for as long as they did either shows, a weakness of Red Dojo of not maybe being fully sure of how to finish games effectively, or it shows how strong that defense of Orca Pods is.
yeah, two sides of the same coin, really. As you know, you've got, as you say, one hand, you've got, well, Red Dojo just needs to close out this game. But you know, there were moments in there, you know, Atomic getting picked off, Natty dropping as well. So they had definitely had their moments. I believe we are going to be getting Jack back in with us. I think, if I heard that correctly, GeronimoJak
is back.
42 minutes. I'd forgotten your face, and it's great to see you again. 42
Honestly,
minutes.
you guys it sounded like you guys were just in an absolute slobber knocker of a fight. There's just constant fighting that game. And now it was pretty close. We almost saw Orca Pod be able to scale up and come back. They were holding on for their dear life for so long. I actually thought for a little bit there that they would have been able to pull it off. However, like you said, Red Dojo does manage to secure the lead and stop the bleeding from getting too bad, which I'm sure Lance is happy about.
You know, I couldn't have lost that game. It does not matter who wins. I love NA West. I love the Red Dojo guys. I'm just glad everybody had fun.
All right, so we're gonna go to a quick break, figure a few things out, and we'll have the next game set up for you guys very shortly. I might actually cast sometime soon too. Who knows?